He was panicking at first. In his old man voice, he was in his 50s. I know why I call him old man. He was saying, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Why? Ah!" And I just kept on stabbing his neck.
Meet Brian Cohee, the troubled teen who confessed to decapitating. In downtown Grand Junction, a disturbing incident unfolded when Brian Cohee Jr. targeted Warren Barnes, a seemingly unassuming homeless individual known as the Reading Man. Barnes's absence raised alarm among acquaintances, leading to the shocking revelation that Cohee had confessed to murdering and dismembering him. The tranquil facade shattered as it was revealed that Barnes had been viciously attacked while sleeping under a nearby bridge. Cohee, a troubled 19-year-old with mental health issues, openly admitted to the crime during police questioning. The Mesa County Coroner's Office identified the victim as 69-year-old Warren Barnes. Cohee disturbingly expressed his lifelong fascination with death and morbidity, chillingly detailing his actions.
And how did you get here?
I murdered someone.
Okay.
Brian demonstrates awareness of the crime and its potential repercussions, suggesting a degree of self-awareness. Brian Cohee Jr. nervously opened up during questioning, admitting to his past and the looming consequences. He acknowledged his impending imprisonment, but confessed to a mysterious compulsion driving him to commit the murder, shrouded in inexplicable motives. Watch Brian Cohee Jr.'s chilling confession video now for insight.
And I was driving along, and I see a shape here on the railway track. So I'm like, oh, interesting. So I go up, and as I'm looking, I see a large thing wrapped in a canvas.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's a homeless person. So I grab my knife, I put on 3 layers of gloves, because plastic gloves can betray their users because they're so thin, the vinyl gloves, by imprinting your fingerprints through. So I put on 3 on one hand. I took the knife, I pulled back the canvas, and I stabbed his neck. Is it okay if I do a demonstration?
Oh, yeah.
This is him. I was straddled on top of him like this.
Okay.
And he couldn't fight back. It was actually surprisingly easy. I was barely breaking a sweat. I thought, homeless guy, he's going to be tough. But no, it was actually surprisingly easy. And during the time I was growling and making animalistic noises.
Why were you doing that?
I suppose it was a frenzy.
Okay.
I was so excited, so rushed up on adrenaline and everything. Like this. Woo-hoo! And I paused and he said, "Why are you doing this?" And I said, "I've been wanting to do this for a long fucking time." Murder someone. And then I continued. The whole ordeal lasted about a minute and a half.
Okay.
And when I was finished stabbing him, he took out his last breath, a grunt, and his head was halfway cut off in stabs. All the while, no, actually, after I killed him, I just couldn't stop saying, "Sticky, dirty, dirty, sticky, sticky." I wasn't smelling anything, but
And why were you saying that?
I don't know.
Okay.
And,
But you remember doing it, so.
yeah. I suppose it was just me speaking out my mind at that moment. It was a pouring out of the mind.
What were you worried about? I mean, this looks like it's pretty close to the road and stuff.
As the camera pans over the desolate railway track, Brian Cohee Jr.'s unsettling confession unfolds against the backdrop of darkness. His indifferent demeanor belies the gravity of his actions, drawing viewers into a disturbing exploration of the human psyche. Cohee's acceptance of the murder seems driven by a complex interplay of impulsivity, empathy deficit, and a disturbing sense of satisfaction. The isolated setting intensifies the scene's eerie atmosphere, leaving viewers captivated by a chilling tale of darkness lurking within the shadows. Brian demonstrates awareness of the crime and its potential repercussions, suggesting a degree of self-awareness. Brian Cohee Jr. nervously opened up during questioning, admitting to his past and the looming consequences. He acknowledged his impending imprisonment, but confessed to a mysterious compulsion, driving him to commit the murder, shrouded in inexplicable motives. Watch Brian Cohee Jr.'s chilling confession video now for insight.
And then, let's see. Yeah. And then after that, I stripped his clothes. I cut open his belly to see his guts. They're really pink. Sorry, that was morbid. Then I cut off his head. I gave him a Glasgow smile. What's that? A Joker smile. I destroyed his eyes by stabbing them.
Okay.
And then I cut off his hands. I put those in plastic Ziploc bags. And then I cut off his right arm at this joint and at this joint. And then at this arm, I tried cutting it here, and then I tried cutting it here. But what happened was, I accidentally broke his bone. This one, it was poking out. And so I left that one here, partially cut, dismembered here, bone sticking out. And then I left his body there. And then I took the head, put it in a leftover box from the dinner a few nights ago. And then I took the hands, put them in the back, drove home, hid the hands and head in my room, cleaned the knife, threw away the garbage with the blood on it, and then put the blood stained, wasn't stained, it had splatters on it. I put it in the dish, in the washing machine.
What? What did you put in there?
I put the outfit I murdered him in the washing.
You were wearing, or?
Yeah, I was wearing.
Okay.
In the washing machine, put it on high speed so it would effectively remove the blood. Washed it twice. And then I tried going to sleep, but I was worried that because there was a hole in my gloves right here, I was worried that they would be able to obtain a partial print.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured, why not go all the way? I drove back in a different outfit, picked up his body, surprisingly heavy, put it in my trunk, and drove to the Blue Heron drop-off station.
Some individuals resort to committing egregious acts in a bid to attract attention, whether it be negative or positive. Boasting about the crime may serve as an extension of this need for recognition, viewing it as an achievement or a means of distinguishing themselves. Brian's composed demeanor, laughter, and apparent affability during the interrogation, particularly considering the severity of his crime, indicate a degree of emotional detachment or disconnection from the situation. Individuals with ASD may encounter challenges in comprehending or conveying emotions akin to neurotypical individuals. However, it's important to recognize that ASD alone does not predispose someone to violence, as it encompasses a spectrum with diverse experiences. While depression can prompt various behavioral shifts, extreme violence, as outlined in the scenario, is not a common manifestation. Nevertheless, intense feelings of hopelessness, anger, or despair may influence an individual's actions or perceptions. Brian's thorough account of his crime supplied investigators with comprehensive details for their inquiry. In fact, he may have provided them with more information than they initially sought. The head and the hands, and then the whole...
The rest of the body you put in the river?
God knows where it is now.
Right, but it was put in there.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay. Pete, you can keep going. I'm sorry. I just wanted to clarify those things.
I was just trying to cut this out real quick.
You know, Brian, I have to ask, a lot of people that we have talked with,
They're silent.
well, or they're just not as well spoken as you are, to be honest with you. You're very articulate. You're very articulate.
I think I'm bad with words.
No, I actually think you're really articulate. And you talked about you were just kind of in a bad space that night.
It was, yes.
Okay. Why were you in a bad space?
I didn't take my medicine. And plus, for years, I was wondering what murder would feel like, because you read shit like Ted Bundy and the Zodiac, they all say murder's the best feeling in the world. So I'm like, I'm going to try that.
Okay.
So for some time, I had been wondering when it would happen. I always knew I would be in this building, whether it was as a criminal or a police officer.
Okay.
Because I was planning to go in the military, go into forensics.
Okay. All right.
And
How long do you really, honestly think you've been thinking about really at some point you wanted to know what murder felt like?
a year.
Okay. All right. And you said you read books?
I read books. I have a book on forensics.
Okay. Did you read the book, the Ted Bundy book?
Brian Cohee Jr. confesses to a crime, admitting he didn't take his medication. He says he was curious about murder after reading books on forensics and hearing about infamous killers like Ted Bundy. This highlights the complexity of human psychology and the influence of societal factors. It underscores the importance of mental health care and responsible consumption of media portraying violence.
True. And obviously that was botched.
So how long have you been planning or looking for someone to do this with before you found this guy?
About a year?
About a year?
No, 6 months.
So have you come close or seen somebody or chickened out or anything in the past?
No. I mean, I was looking for a deliberately secluded place like that one. I wouldn't just go up in Clifton and find someone walking down the street and stab them. No, that's public. Everyone sees that.
Well, have you looked like at the homeless places or anything in the past?
I have, yes. I would go on night drives.
Their meticulous planning, including scouting locations and avoiding public scrutiny, indicates a calculated approach to violence. The casual mention of past scouting missions reveals a pattern of dangerous ideation and potential escalation.
I'm driving down the road, if I see someone that catches my eye, I'll just like...
And it sounds like you thought a lot about the fibers and getting rid of the body. I don't know how sad. Were you worried about getting caught while you were doing it or before you did it?
I was worried about afterwards because for the past day, I want to say, for the past day and a half, including this day, I felt so anxious because not only is my car in the river, there's blood on it, there's body parts in my house. My parents like to look through my things occasionally, and when they see blood, and eventually when they're going to get the news that a body was found in a river, that's very much circumstantial evidence that's pointing to me.
Their preoccupation with potential consequences and the meticulous planning of the crime contrasts sharply with their casual tone, underscoring a chilling detachment from the gravity of their actions.
What do you think would happen if you got caught?
Well, I figured my mother would have confronted me about it, but no, she didn't even say it until the police arrived. I thought the police would handcuff me, but apparently I've been operational, so...
Do you know who the person was that you killed?
No. I took his wallet. I didn't look at it. I just picked it up, briefly scanned over it, and put it in my car. Apparently it was Warren. My mom told me this before she found out that the missing person was Warren Brown, born in '63.
The dialogue reveals a mix of anxiety and detachment from the consequences of their actions. The speaker's admission to anticipating being caught contrasts with their nonchalant attitude towards the victim's identity. The casual mention of taking the victim's wallet underscores a disturbing lack of empathy or remorse for their crime.
Pants.
The jumper was the pants.
Okay, you didn't have
The
pants.
shirt underneath, and the jumper.
Okay. No pants on?
And underwear, but...
Okay. How about socks?
socks. I was wearing a pair of dirty socks.
Did you wash those? Or
No, I didn't wash them.
were they at?
They're socks.
Somewhere? Okay. How about your gloves?
Thrown away.
Where at?
My mom's house. Look in the square trash bin. You will see the bloody trash and the gloves.
Okay.
This inside or outside?
Outside.
Okay.
The conversation delves into the mundane details of clothing worn during the crime. Yet the nonchalant tone contrasts sharply with the gravity of the situation. The casual discussion of dirty socks and gloves hints at a disturbing detachment from the violent act they're being questioned about, underscoring a lack of remorse or empathy.
Right?
Yes.
And got rid of it. Why didn't you go back to that plan? Why change plans?
Too much risky. First time in a row, they'll be like, okay, that's really suspicious, but okay, we forgive you, don't do it again.
Okay.
Second time in a row, we're calling the police on you.
Oh.
I didn't want to do that again.
Okay, fair enough.
Risk.
And so they didn't call the police?
No, because I told they gave me an ultimatum, have them throw it all away or call the police. So I threw it all away because...
Okay, so you thought if you started rebuilding that plan, they'd find out?
Yes.
Okay.
The conversation highlights a concerning lack of accountability and responsibility for one's actions. Despite being caught and given a warning, the speaker dismisses the severity of their behavior, displaying a pattern of risky decision-making. The lack of remorse and reluctance to change behavior indicate a troubling disregard for consequences.
If you had been able to get rid of the head, and your folks did not find it,
Well, it depends.
okay?
Would you guys have been able to solve it if the body was down the river, the head and hands were missing, and there were no fingerprints or DNA?
Well, we'd like to think so, but who knows?
Right, who knows? We'd love to think so, but
So
who
let's say
knows?
we didn't solve it. What happens next?
Then what would you have thought of to do next?
Well, I had thought I would have been very careful because I would have been worried at any moment this could become a cold case and then it could be solved later on down the line. It was just to see what it felt like. And if I had gotten away with it, I would have just kept the secret to the grave.
So,
The dialogue unveils a chilling contemplation of the consequences had the crime not been solved. The speaker exhibits a calculating mindset, weighing the risk of leaving evidence behind. Their admission to experimenting with crime, driven by curiosity and a desire to keep secrets, underscores a troubling lack of empathy and moral compass. The suspect contemplates the hypothetical scenario of not being caught despite disposing of crucial evidence. Their response suggests a chilling disregard for the consequences of their actions, emphasizing a desire to maintain secrecy and evade accountability, even in the face of potential guilt.
Yeah. But with the kid.
okay.
They didn't...
She was riding around with the kid.
No, actually, I was walking around with the kid.
Okay.
Well, actually, I was driving. I had the kid, went out, searched a couple of places, kind of walking around with the backpack and the kid. The backpack had the most stuff in it.
Okay.
The kid, just trying to look for someone. They caught me when I went back inside. My parents caught me. They didn't check the kid, the backpack. But they were like, what are you doing out? And I'm like, I'm getting a breath of fresh air. And they're like, okay. But it was a few days later when they found out what was in the kit.
Okay.
So I'm almost confrontational about it. And yeah, I stopped doing it for a while there because of...
The incident showcases deceptive tactics and manipulation in criminal behavior, revealing the psychological battle between evasion and guilt, offering insight into the intricate dynamics of criminal psychology.
family owned, but I'm the one who uses it.
Oh, okay. Well, is it a desktop or a laptop?
The desktop.
Okay. What kind? Is it your mom's or dad?
I don't know.
You don't know where it is?
No, I don't know who owns it.
Oh,
Oh, no, it's at my mom's.
yes, your mom.
Sorry, I thought you asked
That's
who
okay.
owned it.
Oh, okay. That's okay. And you use it.
Yes.
Have you looked up some of this stuff we've talked about? I think you talked about looking some things up or on the internet. Do you use the computer?
Yes.
Or the,
Both.
so,
There's another form, if you wouldn't mind. You just need to get pictures of, since you do have cuts on your hands, and you said you,
That was from picking up the knife.
and was it before or after you killed the guy?
Before.
Okay. So,
Why?
do you want me to hold it?
that's it. I just put them on the table.
The conversation appears disjointed, circling between topics of computer ownership and the grim acknowledgement of a past crime. Despite the gravity of the situation, there's a lack of urgency or comprehension, as if discussing mundane matters. The exchange reveals a disconnection, perhaps a coping mechanism, or an attempt to evade the reality of their actions. The casual transition from discussing computer usage to acknowledging a past crime underscores a chilling detachment from moral responsibility. It's a glimpse into a mindset where accountability is secondary to mundane concerns, hinting at deeper layers of denial or detachment from reality.
Do you have your parents' phone number and stuff? You called from the jail?
Yeah.
You know that?
You know,
I do know.
Okay, okay.
we'll go around.
Well, we, I don't care.
They used the bathroom one last time.
Of course, of course.
I'll take you again.
Okay, yeah, I won't. And I'll meet you out there.
The intercepted conversation from the jail depicts a casual demeanor, seemingly indifferent to the impending consequences. Despite the gravity of the situation, nonchalance permeates the dialogue, reflecting a disconnection from the severity of their circumstances. Such apathy towards impending confinement underscores a concerning disregard for accountability. As the demon is escorted to jail, an unsettling calm settles over the atmosphere, masking the sinister energy within. Behind the cold bars, its malevolent aura flickers, subdued but not extinguished. In the dim confines of its cell, whispers of ancient spells echo, hinting at a darkness that even imprisonment cannot contain, leaving a lingering sense of unease in its wake. The suspect's behavior and statements suggest a blend of narcissism, lack of empathy, desire for control, and detachment from societal norms and emotions, characteristic of severe antisocial tendencies or disorders. Ultimately, Brian Cohee was convicted of first-degree murder, despite pleading not guilty by reason of insanity, receiving a life sentence without parole. As the investigation unfolded, Demon was sent to jail, and shedding light on the sinister truth lurking within the shadows, justice prevailed. With the demon behind bars, a collective sigh of relief echoes through the corridors of righteousness. Yet let this serve as a sobering reminder of the resilience required to combat darkness. Together, we stand vigilant, guardians of light in a world besieged by shadows. Join our channel, see more videos.